By the end of this lecture, we will get to know that what are functions, why we need functions, functions declaration, how do we call them, what are parameters and arguments, return values, why Playwright uses functions everywhere. So to start with basic, a function is a reusable block of code that performs some task. So suppose I have 4 to 5 lines of code which perform some task. So I do not need to write those 4 to 5 lines of code again and again. Instead, I will just call that function and put those 5 lines of code inside that function. So every time I call that function, those 5 lines of code will get executed. Why do we need functions? We need functions because we do not want to write those 5 lines of code every time, avoid repeating code. Then we need a cleaner automation framework. Like we do not want to repeat everything, everything should be structured in a proper way. And like the reusable logic, right? Every time we call the function, the logic gets reused. Okay, let's start. First of all, how do we declare a function here? Just write function. Okay, then the name of function, like suppose let's start with greet. Okay, and then we start with curly braces, and suppose I want to print something, right? Console.log hello, and then again I am writing, let's write 2 3 lines. Hello, how are you? And let's write, hope you are doing good. Okay, so if I want to print these 3 lines, I need not write like these lines again and again. I will just call that function named greet and using the parenthesis. So this is I am calling the function. So you will see these 3 lines. If again I repeat, like I can write call that function as many times as I want. So you will see all those lines repeating. See, those lines are repeated now. And what are parameters and arguments? So parameters is like if I am passing something from here, this that is called parameter. And here, what when a function receives it, that is called an argument. So if I write name over here, right, I am passing one thing over here, hello, and we can pass the name over here, like it will print your name. Whatever I am passing, it will print it. Let's say I am passing John, okay, and next time I am passing Adam, okay. Anything, you can pass anything you want. So it will print this name. This name is passed from here to here and then received over here. Okay, save it and run it. So that's how it is done. Like first time it's saying John, then how are you, then Adam, and then Julie. So we need not write these 3 lines again and again, right? We are just calling it in a single line, and these 3 lines are getting repeated. That is the main purpose of a function. And also let's write one more function. Suppose I want to add 2 things. Function add, abstract, multiply. You can do anything you want. Like here I am. It is looking for 2 arguments, and I will be returning those like the sum, right? Return a plus b. So now if you want sum of any two things, right, you just call that method add, right? And uh anything like 3 comma 4, and we can print this, like whatever will be the output, we can print the output. Okay, either you can write, for the simplicity you can just write like add 3 comma 4 and print that value c over here. It's one and the same thing. We can do in one line or we can do in 2 lines, right? Just write run code. Right. Yeah, see 7. So this is because this is function is returning some value. We are passing 2 values, 3 comma 4. 3 comma 4 is added and then returned. When it's returned, it's passed on to this variable c, and then we are printing the value of the variable c. So that is why we need, like that's how functions work. Okay, and so we, how we define is function, name of the function, then the arguments, and then return value. These are the 4 things you need to keep in mind, and then we call the functions, right? Why functions matter in Playwright, right? As we saw, like suppose we have a group of things, like suppose I want to log in every time. Okay, just I am writing for the sake like async function. We have a function which it will log in, right? So which it will log in into the application. And every time, I have to fill in the username, like await page dot fill, right? Suppose fill is a function. It fill in the details, right? Then I pass in the locators like username and the value, username value, suppose it's admin, right? And then password, right? It will fill in the password like await page dot fill. Then we are sending in the password value, right? And the password value is admin123, anything you want, right? And then await dot page, it will await page, sorry, page dot click, right? Click is also a method. And then where are you clicking? You are clicking on the login button, right? So these three things, every time I need to add the username, password, and then click on login button if I want to log in into the application. So instead of doing this again and again, writing these 3 to 4 lines of code again and again, I will just call in that method in Playwright. So that's why we are telling we are using functions in Playwright explaining. So this is a reusable code, right? Reusable automation steps, cleaner framework, and we are avoiding the duplication.